Hidden dangers are lurking in your storytelling. You might be captivated by a narrative, but if you're not attuned to the journey's warning signs, you risk losing emotional depth. This disconnect can unravel the essence of your story, leaving your audience questioning, am I missing something important? Consider a writer pouring their heart into a character's journey, experiencing every high and low. However, they overlook the emotional signals. They may unintentionally distort the character's arc. Imagine a scene where a hero faces a pivotal choice. If their motivations are unclear, your investment in the story starts to fade, and the stakes feel low. This disconnect often stems from overlooked emotional subtle signals that can either strengthen or weaken your connection to the narrative. Now, picture a drama where the protagonist brushes aside their fears. You might wonder, why aren't they struggling more? That silence is a warning signal that many storytellers ignore. Recognizing these stress signals is crucial. They can elevate your storytelling. By tuning into unspoken emotions, you can raise the stakes and create a journey that resonates deeply, keeping your audience on the edge of their seats. But beware. If a character faces an overwhelming challenge without showing their emotional breakdown, the climax can feel hollow, leaving you questioning, did they even care? Mismanaged emotional intelligence can create a disconnect that leaves viewers feeling cold. So, what's the solution? Start listening to your characters. What fears and unspoken conflicts simmer beneath the surface? Weaving these elements into your narrative not only creates depth, but also forges a connection that lingers long after the story ends. Remember, every journey has signals that guide it. Pay attention to them or risk losing your audience entirely. What if I told you that understanding emotions could lead you down a risky path? Picture this: you're crafting a story, and the emotional depth you give your characters feels incredibly powerful. But what if that depth? Many see emotional intelligence as a gift, a superpower that enhances storytelling. However, it can also be a hidden landmine ready to explode. You might be in tune with your feelings, but if you ignore the warning signs, you could sabotage your own story. Imagine being in a room full of people sharing personal experiences, emotions flowing freely. At first, it feels uplifting, but then you notice some stories are so heavy they drag the atmosphere down. That's emotional intelligence at work, but in a negative way. Have you ever read a book where the protagonist's emotions overshadowed the plot? You might have sensed something was off without being able to pinpoint it. That's the danger of mismanaged emotional intelligence. It's not just about expressing feelings, it's about balancing them with the story's rhythm. You're nodding along thinking, I get it. But here's the kicker: even seasoned writers can fall into this trap. You want authenticity, but too much emotion can cloud your message. You might spend pages exploring a character's angst instead of advancing the plot. Imagine you've poured hours into developing a character's backstory, layered and heartbreaking. Yet, readers might skim through it longing for action or resolution. They want to feel, yes, but they also want the story to keep moving. Now, here's the moment of truth. What if you could harness that emotional power without losing your audience? It's all about spotting those hidden dangers before they derail your story. Think about the films or novels you love. Do they linger too long on emotion, or do they skillfully weave feelings into plot? So, how do you find that perfect balance? It starts with realizing that emotional intelligence is just about feeling deeply. It's knowing when to pull back and let the action shine. Your characters should evoke empathy. Before we wrap up, remember, storytelling is an art that requires precision. Emotions have their place, but they need direction. When you master the interplay between emotion and narrative progression, Your stories want to just be told, they'll resonate with your audience long after they've turned the last page. As you dive into your next story, keep these hidden dangers in mind. Don't let emotional intelligence cloud your vision. Instead, let it guide you, ensuring your narrative touches hearts and sparks imaginations. If you found this thought-provoking, consider exploring more about the intricacies of storytelling. Your next masterpiece might just be waiting for you to discover it. What if I told you that your deepest emotions might be sabotaging your storytelling? Surprising, right? But sometimes emotional intelligence can lead you astray in narrative art. You might be thinking, isn't being in tune with my emotions a good thing? Here's the twist: too much emotional investment can cloud your judgment, resulting in plots that feel forced or characters that seem flat. What if your passion for a story is actually holding it back? Imagine crafting a scene so packed with emotion that it becomes overwhelming. Instead of connecting with your audience, they might feel disconnected. This is a trap many storytellers fall into without realizing it. Your powerful feelings can sometimes distort the story you want to share. Consider an aspiring writer pouring their heart into a deeply personal character arc. They believe their protagonist's journey is relatable, but the nuances can get lost in their own experience. Suddenly, that character feels more like a reflection of the writer than a fully realized person. It's easy to lose sight of the audience. Now, think about a filmmaker using a tragic backstory to evoke sympathy. Their intentions are good, but the audience may feel manipulated, leaving them emotionally drained instead of engaged. The danger here is that disconnection grows and your narrative risks falling flat. So where's the balance? How can you harness emotional intelligence without overshadowing your story? It starts with creating some distance. Stepping back helps you see the bigger picture. Ask yourself, is this emotion enhancing the narrative or just embellishing it? Picture a crowded room where everyone is talking but no one is listening. That's what happens when the emotional weight in your story is too heavy. You need clarity, not just a flood of feelings. Now let's discuss crafting intricate narratives. It's about weaving emotional threads into your story without overwhelming your audience. You want them to feel, yes, but also to think, reflect, and be drawn deeper into your world. As you develop your characters, give them room to breathe. Let their emotions come forth naturally. This way, the audience can engage with your emotions genuinely. It's about creating a dialogue in it, a monologue of feelings that can be overwhelming. Before we wrap up, take a moment to reflect on your own experiences. Think of a time when you were caught up in a whirlwind of emotion. Were you truly connecting or just skimming the surface? That realization could be a turning point in your storytelling journey. As you move forward, remember that emotional intelligence is a tool, not a crutch. Use it wisely. Your stories deserve clarity, and your audience deserves an experience that resonates.